I don't want to get copyright flagged. Okay. So you can't play music when we're trying to record the podcast.
Says the man who's gotten his copyright flagged how many times?
Look, things happened. I'm not proud of them. You're clearly not proud of them. We can't control the world. Who runs the world? Girls.
That's right. We run this.
Oh, I read a really wonderful...
We run this mother.
Vow, view, vow, view, vow, view, vow, view,
Vow to view, vow, 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 vow to view. Vow to view each other's movies, even though we don't always like them, but it's okay because we love each other and movies too.
Welcome back, guys. I've missed you. This is Vow To View, your Doof Media podcast, all about marriage and the things we make each other watch. In case you forgot, my name is Elyse Daly.
And in case I forgot, my name is Scott
You forget a lot.
Dally. And together, we're the
Dallies.
Don't start mad at me. We haven't
I'm
done
not
this
mad
in
at
like
you.
2 weeks, and you start the podcast off
I'm not mad at you. I need to think.
This
Together,
is the
we're the
podcast.
Dallies.
This is the podcast where each and every week, except for last week, my wife Elyse and I pick a movie and make each other watch it. Then we sit in front of some microphones and talk about the movie, and most importantly, talk about ourselves.
That's what you're all here for anyways, is me, more you.
Elyse, it is October. Officially.
Rocktober. It's Rocktober.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I was in a staff meeting today and they said, it's Rocktober because you're just rocking through.
Do you just repeat things that you hear?
Yes, I'm a parrot.
So it's October.
It's October.
And that means all month long we're doing...
And that means all month long.
Spooky movies.
Are you going to do that every week?
I mean, probably.
Oh, gosh.
And by spooky movies, of course, I mean Scott is allowed to select from a very limited pool of movies that Elyse
Yes,
would not
very
find too
limited.
scary. And Elyse is allowed to select from movies
Whatever movie
that
I
are,
want.
that are
Let's just be real, guys. That's whatever I want all the time.
mostly just things that are not actually horror films.
Mostly just things that I like. And might have pumpkins in it. I don't know.
So, Elyse,
Yeah.
it's the first week of October.
It is.
It's horror month here at Vow To View.
Horror!
I have selected the 2009 movie Drag Me to Hell, and you
Yes.
picked the 1967 movie
Yeah, I always gotta
Wait Until
find
Dark.
those movies that are older than yours.
Wait Until Dark. Not really a horror film,
It's not really in the dark, but it
but
is
you have
in
to
the dark.
wait because the dark is at the end.
Yes, or really, the character's in the dark the whole time. Bum bum bum.
That's not really she's blind. Like that's
I know.
just
She's dark.
It's established like immediately.
I know.
So you said bum 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 like it's a twist.
It's not a twist.
It's not really.
I know it's not a twist. You know it's not a twist.
Hey, Elyse.
And now the people know it's not a twist.
Elyse.
Yes.
We're going to talk about some roses and some thorns. But
Yes.
before we did that, I thought because it's the first week of October, it's
Oh, okay.
one of my favorite months of the year because I
Oh, is
love
it?
Halloween. I love horror movies. I love this whole thing.
you do love
I
Halloween.
want to talk about horror films and I want to talk about our history with horror movies and,
Oh.
and why you don't like them
I
very
don't like
much.
them.
So I know you don't like them. They're
Yes.
scary.
Yes.
Why?
I am a visual learner. So things that I see stick with me. And I am also someone who, when I see something visual that has an emotional impact on me, it stays with me. And so when I see something that scares me, it stays with me. And then I think that I see those things later, and it very much frightens me. And I don't like things that do that. So therefore, I do not like scary movies.
It feels like you're speaking from experience, though.
I am.
What experiences?
There are movies that I have seen that I just, it gets in my brain and I just continue to think on it. And I think, oh, that's not real. Oh, and then it's just like, I don't know. The one that I think of the most that I had just like the scariest thing with was that I watched, there are two movies. Number one, The Ring I watched, and that frightened me because I was at a slumber party and I actually, shocker to some of you, I don't know, I love my sleep, and so I'm always the first to sleep at slumber parties. It's
That's
just
so
like,
lame.
I'm so tired, I'm gonna go to sleep. So I go to sleep and they started watching The Ring. And of course, I go to sleep early because it's a scary movie and I don't like scary movies. And so I don't watch it. But at the end, my friend's dad thought it would be fun to scare everyone. And so the movie, I don't know how he did it. The TV just goes static.
That's amazing.
Like it literally goes static.
That's
and I don't know if
amazing.
he did that or if it was just something that, like after watching
he
the VHS.
absolutely did that.
But then he's crawling up over the stairs in his hunting gear, like creepy, not making a sound, in his leafy mask
That's
and
so
hat.
good. This is amazing.
I'm right by the stairs.
I can't believe you've never told me the story before.
Yeah, well, I'm right by the stairs. And
Yes.
I'm like just now waking up, and everyone at the slumber party
Yes.
is telling me how scared that they are because now the TV has gone staticky. And then I look over and I turn and I see coming up over the stairs a man in this hunting mask with a hat
Yes.
and his sweater
Yes.
that has leaves.
Yes.
And everyone screams and moves, and it's just that just stayed with me. Yeah, I didn't like it.
That's the best
funny
Elise story I've ever
thing,
heard.
though. But then, like, the other thing that just really gets you into why I don't like movies that are scary, I especially don't like movies that have like any sort of demonic something to it.
You don't like demons. You don't fuck with that.
I don't. So it's just like scary movies that could be real. I don't like because I harp on how they could actually happen. And then I think about how they would happen in my real life. And so then I just continually think about that. And I'm someone who, like, I worry. That's just something that is my personality. I have to try and work through that. But because I worry and I think about how they're real, think about what happened in the movie, think about how that would happen in my real life, what I would do in that case, is just...
But they're movies. They're not real.
I mean, they're movies. They're not real. But it makes my mind go down the rabbit hole. And I don't like it. It's not healthy for me. And so a way to keep me from having... that healthy mindset is to not watch them.
Sweet. I'm going to make you watch 4 movies this month.
Yeah, and you're going to have to deal with the consequences.
I'm totally aware of that.
You.
I am trying to intelligently pick movies that I think you will appreciate and not be too scared of.
Okay, thank you.
And I think so far I've done a pretty good job.
Okay.
I came to horror late. Did you know that? I
No.
did not. Well, it's not that I didn't like them as a kid. It's that my dad didn't like horror. So... we didn't really watch that many of them. My mom likes it, but my dad doesn't. So we didn't really watch. So I was like a late bloomer. It was until I was a teenager that I started like really eating up all this creepy horror. And I love it. The thing with me is I get scared. Like a lot of people that like horror, they've watched so many, they don't like get scared. These movies work on me, but I like it. I like it. I like being scared. I like that feeling.
Scared.
I like that feeling of when you're sitting there, like, one of my favorite experiences in the movie theaters this year was sitting down by myself to watch Hereditary. And I was so uncomfortable and so scared. And like you do that thing where you're like trying to come up with reasons to look away from the screen, like while still like preserving your internal dignity, even though you're by yourself. But it's all about you.
You know the reason to look away from the screen?
Why?
Because you want to look away from the screen. That's a good enough reason for
No,
me.
the reason is like I like my arm. I got something on my arm. It really itches, and I just gotta study it for a bit. Or like you do this thing where you're just like, I'm not looking away from the screen. It's just something in my eye, and I need to rub it for a bit. You do that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I love all horror movies. I love every genre, every type. I love it all.
I like thriller movies. I like psychological thrillers.
Yeah.
That's my thing. But horror, scary, that sort of thing.
Scare me. I go into the movies
like
and
it.
I say, movie,
But I think
Scare
that's
me.
typical about boys.
let's not be sexist.
You know, I think that, well, in a relationship, I will say there's always one partner that I think likes scary movies more than the other because they know how the person that doesn't like the scary movies reacts. And that means that the person wants to find comfort in the one who likes the scary
Yeah, I mean
movies.
that's the tale's oldest time.
It's the whole cuddle.
That's why you
it's the
take
cuddle effect.
Yeah, that's why you take dates to scary movies. That's exactly why you do it.
I know. I had a guy in high school. He tried to tell me about it. He was like, "Oh, let's watch a scary movie." And I was like, "I want to watch a scary movie."
I guess you didn't
Why
like
do you
him
want
that
to watch
much.
a scary? No, I liked him. We just didn't ever watch it.
Disappointing.
I'm sorry.
Bet he was really disappointed. My parents'
yeah.
first
Well, you know it.
My parents' first date was seeing a scary movie
scary
called
movie?
Magic, which is funny. That's how you know my dad liked my mom because
Yeah.
he
He didn't
went
like horror movies.
Yeah.
the guy that asked me to watch this scary movie then ended up going to my window late at night with a couple of his friends and tapping on it.
People are so mean to you. Oh my God.
Tap, 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 tap. And I was freaked out.
Yeah,
and then they
I would
toilet
be
papered
too.
the house.
Well, okay.
And then they came back the next day and cleaned it up because I knew who it was.
So did they come back and clean it up, or did you order them to come back and clean it up?
A little bit of both.
It's that scary Elyse.
Thanks, Papa Rimmer.
Oh, it was your dad?
Yeah. And me.
I can
both of
imagine.
us.
All right.
The fact that I knew who it was.
So that's our little history with horror. So before we move into those movies,
Yeah.
it's time.
For the main event.
No, it's not the main event.
I mean, it's the main event. It's really what people come here for.
It's time for the Rose and the Thorns. Every rose has its thorn.
Has its thorn.
Just like every night has its dawn.
Dawn, dawn, dawn.
Every cowboy sings a sad song. Every rose has its thorn. Yeah. Jesus. Elyse.
Yeah. No, what's yours? Let's go with you first. It
Oh, God, I'm unprepared.
was a big week for you. Big week.
Is it Big Wick?
It's a big week.
Big
for
week?
You. It's a big week. So I'm kind of interested because you had so many wonderful things that went on. What was the highlight? What was the rose?
I'm just going to lump it all together. My rose is Fantastic Fest. It's the fourth year I've been to the film festival down in Austin, and it was probably my favorite year so far. The selection of movies was incredible.
Okay.
It's rare that I don't like a movie at Fantastic Fest because like the movies are pretty curated. Like the just organizers of the festival watch like hundreds of movies and decide from those hundreds of movies I don't know how many play, probably like 70 total, but you see about half of them. And they make the decision based on that. So they're usually like not just terrible, horribly made movies, but the quality, the ones that I really, really, really liked this year was far and beyond any of the ones last year and the years before. So it was just a great experience. I had me and my friends rent a big house or apartment or whatever. We found like a new place this year that was walkable distance from the theater, so we didn't have to worry about driving at all. It was my birthday over the festival. It's always my birthday over the festival. This year it was the closing party, so it's like the festival threw a big birthday party for me.
For you. Did they sing happy birthday?
No.
Did anyone say happy birthday?
I don't think
Other
so.
than me, I sang happy birthday to you.
You did.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, guys. Everyone listening right now on the podcast, we're going to sing happy birthday to Scott.
no.
So wherever you are, it's going to be one big happy birthday.
No, that's
On the count of three.
no, that's
One,
weird.
2,
Don't sing the whole song.
3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Scotty. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Did you hear all their voices everywhere?
I did.
Oh,
It's
so
it's
great, guys.
crazy
You're
how
so
that
loud.
works.
I'm so proud.
So yeah, I mean, it was just a great experience. I love it. I wish you could come. I did miss you. It's the longest we're apart. Every year is normally the 8 or 9 days that I'm down there. But
Yeah. But you enjoy it.
I do. I enjoy it
I
a lot.
enjoy it too.
How dare you?
Yeah, that was my rose. My rose, you were gone for 9 days. I'm just kidding. It wasn't my rose.
I'm so hurt.
No, you're not.
Elyse, what was your rose?
My rose was, I guess I had kind of said it last time because it was a different sister, but I've had both my sisters come in and I've just kind of enjoyed some really nice, relaxing family time over the past few weekends. I'm going to get another time this next weekend. I'm my little sister coming back in town. And so it's just been like, it's been good to get family time with both of my sisters because with them living away, I don't get that like one-on-one time with them a lot.
Yeah.
So it's been really fun. And that was
Cool.
my rose.
It's nice and sweet,
Yeah. Sweet and simple.
but
Yep.
it's time to go.
Every rose has a thorn.
That's the show.
Yep.
Elyse.
Yep.
Do you want me to go first on the thornies?
Yeah, we're going back and forth, please.
Okay. My thorn is sleep. I'm so tired. I've been
It's
tired.
interesting because you're usually so good with like not sleeping a lot.
Well, so
And now it's caught up.
I'm staying up way too late. Well, because the thing is, the way the film festival works is you're up until The last movie usually gets out at 2:30, and then for some reason,
That's just too late.
for some reason, every night you go home and everyone's at the house, and you end up staying up another hour and a half.
Not if you're at Elise's slumber party. If you're at Elise's slumber party, you are asleep in that midnight movie, and you are waking up to walk home and then go straight to sleep again.
Yeah. So the point being that I've been staying up till 4 every night while I was at the festival, and then I got back, and my body's kind of used to that. So I haven't been going to bed till like 2:30, 3 o'clock all week, and I'm tired.
I go to bed at 9:30. It's
I know.
glorious.
I know. I have like a whole other life.
Yeah,
after
you
you're
do.
asleep. I'm just really tired, and it's finally caught up with me, and I'm hoping that tonight is the night that I pass out at a reasonable time. And
I hope so too.
We'll see.
Yeah.
If
I
not,
guess this
the
coffee's
weekend
not
is
really helping us.
Yeah, that was probably, in retrospect, bad call, coffee. Bad call.
Just don't finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. How about you?
I've had and still am having a very busy week. And it's just, I have a lot that I'm doing, and it's kind of getting to the point where there's so much going on with work that it's just kind of getting to the point where it is nearing stress. There just keeps to be things that are piling on. And so like right now, I know that I've got a lot because it's parent conference week. So, well, I have parent conference day next week, but I always try and get them done the week before if I can. That way on that conference day, I can have just a few, and then I have a work day really to myself. But what that also means is that 40 minutes before school and then an hour after school, I have conferences Monday through Friday, which means the prep time that I usually use during that is all gone. And I've had to move some around so that the normal time that I would have during that week, being my planning period, it's just that's gone because I've had to move conferences in then because I had other things come up that I had to reschedule conferences that I've already had. And so it's just like there's a lot of scheduling. There's a lot of things going on. There's not a lot of time to do anything other than just talk to adults, which is not that I'm bad at it, and I'm, good at presenting information.
Your thorn is talking to adults.
No, my thorn is just the amount of things that I'm juggling in my schedule right now is just a lot. And so come Friday, I'm going to be very excited because I will have the majority of all of that done, and I'll just get to kind of breathe a sigh of relief and relax that it is finished.
I thought you were going to say Ghost's shedding.
I mean, her shedding is really annoying too, but
yeah. Our dog is a Siberian Husky, and she blows her coat twice a year, and one of those times is right now.
And it is everywhere.
I vacuumed last night.
It is everywhere.
And it's already...
I couldn't even tell you vacuumed last night. And not because you didn't vacuum, it's because there is so much hair.
Basically, it's so much hair. Like, if any of you out there have, like, Arctic dogs, but it's so much hair that, like, I can't even handle brushing her. Like, so we take her to a groomer, and the groomer literally, like, they don't even, I think they wash her, but they don't do anything else. They just brush her for, like, 2 hours nonstop, and they still don't get all the hair out of her. But that's happening on Saturday, and I can't fucking wait because there's too much damn hair.
It's too much. It's really annoying.
It's too much.
I tried to vacuum last week because I knew you were going to be home, so I thought, let's go ahead and vacuum and make it look all nice and neat for when you come home, because that helps me relax. Is when I come home to a clean house. And so I vacuumed, and then I woke up.
Don't matter.
And then there was hair, and I was so frustrated.
Don't matter. All right.
Yeah.
That's it for Roses and Thorns and bonus Ghost. It's Ghost's Thorn. It's probably annoying to her. It's got all this hair fluffing out.
It's probably exciting to her that she's getting all of it off.
Why?
Because it's hot.
No, the undercoat has two different... There's the summer undercoat, and then there's the winter undercoat. The reason she's shedding right now is she's blowing out her summer undercoat.
Well, she's wanting to shed that coat, okay? And
she's preparing. She's preparing for the winter.
Well, winter's not coming. Sorry, Ghost. You're in Texas.
Elise, we picked a couple movies. One of them is a horror movie. One of them is not, but
it's a thriller.
It scared you, so that counts. I believe you are first this week.
Am I first this week?
What movie did you pick?
I picked the 1967 movie Wait Until Dark. It was directed by Terrence Young, who also did Dr. No and Thunderball.
That would be James Bond movies. The Mr. Connery.
Bond. James Bond. And then it was written by Robert Carrington based on a play by Frederick Knott. And I think that Carrington. I think if you watch it, you can tell that it was a play.
Yeah, I mean, it's a one set movie.
The majority, yeah. They have a little bit of stuff on the street scene, but it takes place in the apartment. The movie is about a recently blinded woman that is terrorized by a trio of thugs while they search for a heroin-stuffed doll that they believe is in her apartment.
Well, it is in her apartment.
It is in her apartment.
Yeah.
Well, it was removed by Georgia. Georgia.
She's the worst.
And then she realizes she took it, and then she returns it, and then it's just horrible.
So, Elyse, tell me about this movie. Why did you pick this movie? Why did you start the spooky month with this movie?
This is probably like my favorite. I would consider it a scary movie just because it scared me when I was little. And the reason that we first watched it was because of me and my siblings' love and adoration for Audrey Hepburn. And so we just wanted to watch all Audrey Hepburn movies. And I think my mom had finally found this, or not found, but she had seen it before and then realized we hadn't watched it. And so she thought, maybe they're ready for it. We'll watch it. And I just vividly remember watching this movie upstairs in my house with my siblings. And then all of a sudden, at the end, at that one point where it was like dark and you thought that the guy was dead or gone, and then all of a sudden he just reaches out and he grabs her, and it just made all of us jump, and we were so scared and we screamed. And then my mom just like comes up and she's like, "You saw the part, didn't you?" And it's just like she knew. And so it was one of those like fun experiences to have together, and then with an actress that I really like.
Yeah, I mean, this is the second Hepburn film we've done for the show so far. So, and it will not be the last.
It won't be the
guarantee
last,
that.
yes. But I really like the movie. I think it's a different role for her. She does a great job in it. All of the actors, I think, do a really good job. I think it's an interesting story.
It's a tough role playing blind.
Yeah. But I really like the movie. So it has kind of a sentimental value to it. It was one of the movies that I vividly remember being one of those first scare factor movies for me. Mm-hmm. And while I agree, it is not a scary movie throughout the entire time, but it's definitely suspenseful. And I enjoy watching too, because you see how with her being recently blind, she's like trying to learn all of these new skills and how different senses are now heightened for her. And you see the suspense that's building between like her realizing that while she can't see people, she's hearing them the same way. And they're changing their appearance, which isn't really for her, because she can't see them, but it's for everyone else that is watching and that could potentially be seeing them go in and out of the apartment. But it's just, I really like how the whole just story comes together and it builds throughout the whole time. And then at the very end, when it just gives you the actual jump scare factor that you didn't expect.
Yeah.
It's a really good movie. I like it.
Yeah. And I mean, like the final few minutes of this movie are in pitch dark.
Yeah.
She cleverly removes all the light bulbs from all the lights. It's like, what was that movie that came out a few years ago? Don't Breathe or something, where they try to break into the blind man's house.
You saw that, and I hadn't seen it.
Yeah,
but I thought it was similar to this.
I think they probably watched that movie. I'd never seen this movie before. Just never got around to it. I'd heard of it. You had been trying to get me to see this for a while, but we didn't have it. And then we borrowed it on DVD from your parents, I think, and then we never got around to watch it, and then it came out on Blu-ray not too long ago, and we bought it. So we finally got to watch it, which is why I love doing the show, because it finally get to cross things off our list. I really, really enjoyed this movie.
I'm so glad you did.
I mean, Hepburn is great in anything she does. I was worried it would be cheesy, her playing blind. Like, there's a lot of, sometimes actors play blind. It's like so over the top, and so it's like, that's not how blind people actually function. But you could kind of tell that she spent some time. Apparently her and the director did go to a blind school and spend some time there talking to them and learning from them. She learned how to she can't fully read Braille, but she learned how to read Braille convincing enough to be able to fake it in the movie. Yeah. So, I mean, they treated this with respect, and she took time, which is great. And then, of course, Alan Arkin as the bad guy.
He is so good.
He's so good. And apparently... they were having trouble casting the role because first of all, no one wanted to be the guy that picks on a blind lady. And second of all, no one wanted to be the guy that picks on Audrey Hepburn.
Yeah.
So they really had trouble casting the role. And Alan Arkin's like, I'll do it. And he's
why not?
fantastic. Actually, Stephen King, in that book I just read, Danse Macabre, called this one of the best horror movies ever. And
so he agrees it's a horror movie.
yeah, I mean, he puts
Steven.
thriller and horror. I mean, he puts his genres are very broad, but and he also lists Alan Arkin's character as one of the best horror villains ever, because he's just so evil.
And it's one of those that's just like so casually evil. It's just so sinister. Like the part where they come in and he doesn't even tell them like to not touch anything.
Yeah.
And then they're going around and touching everything. He's like, it's fine. I'll just leave. This is the one thing that I touched. And he just wipes it clean.
Yeah.
And then it's like the whole thing of them going through their head of, oh my gosh, I touched all of this. I touched this. I touched this. And he's just like slowly, calmly just moving his way out.
Well, that's the thing I love is this whole movie is basically a game of chess between Audrey Hepburn and Alan Arkin's character. And I love, you kind of alluded to that, but I love how they like, the reason why she survives this movie is because they are constantly underestimating her.
Yeah.
They think, oh, this is this weak, blind woman. We can get away with whatever. We can manipulate her. But she's like outsmarting them at every pass. Like she's making connections. She hears them move the blinds and that the phone rings afterwards and makes that mental connection that it's thing. The one cop is like obsessively rubbing down everything because he knows that he touched a lot of stuff. So he's trying to get his fingerprints off everything. And she hears that too and picks up on that. And that's
is it dusty? Is he cleaning?
Yeah. And that's kind of what the whole movie is like they're just time after time underestimating her. And she's like slyly picking up on it. And it's just it's such a smart movie in that way. Like it's like you're sitting there like, yes, this woman's being like terrorized by these men and taking advantage of her blindness. But like, I almost, until the very end when things finally turn violent and he pulls out the knife and tries to kill her, I always kind of felt like she had a modicum of control over the situation, because like, even though she's being fooled, and I think for a while there, she did honestly believe that the one guy was who he said he was and was actually on her side.
Yeah.
She's still like she's manipulating them too into giving up parts of their plan. And I think it's so clever. It's so smart. Like this is just like a badass woman, like outsmarting bad guys. And it's so fun to watch. And yeah, I mean, it gets really tense at the end. I love that they weren't afraid to go full darkness. Like a lot of times in movies, they'll want to go darkness, but then they'll like have a night vision camera to like, because like the audience doesn't want to not be able to see. That's boring. But they really leaned into it. I mean, it's not for too long.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the part of it too. It's like people always think, well, the audience wants to see this. They want to see this. But they want to be surprised and they want to feel the tension.
Yeah.
And so I think just like how like the robbers, they were underestimating her. People generally underestimate the audience as to what they really want to see and feel. And so when you take that away and you really put them in the place of like how she was not being able to see, and then how they would have not been able to see, it builds to put you into the movie and experience that tension along with them. And I think it's so effective. And I loved it so much.
I wish he would have said ominously, "You're in my world now."
Audrey would not say that. It's so un-Audrey. She's too classy.
I did read that in some of the showings, or at least this is what was advertised. I don't know if they did this, but in some of the showings, they lowered the lights in the theaters to the bare minimum they could have legally.
That'd be cool.
Just to make sure that the darkness effect really, like, you felt absorbed by it.
That'd be really awesome.
But I think the script of this movie is so tight. Like, things are set up and they pay off in wonderful ways. Like, I love the fact that one of the last things her husband says to her before she leaves, she's trying to defrost the fridge and he won't tell her where the cord is to unplug it. Like, you've got to learn, you're blind now. You've got to learn how to do this stuff for yourself. And that comes back around in the end of the movie where the only light left in the house is the refrigerator. So he's opened the refrigerator and put like a towel in the hinge so it can't shut all the way and the light can't go out. And that's the only way she's going to survive this. And of course, she ends up in the corner searching for the plug to the fridge. And it's just like, that's really like tight screenwriting. Like, this is not the most complicated movie in the world. It's not like Like,
I mean, like you said, it's one set. It's just like, it's all in one room.
Yeah, but it's just like, it's enthralling, like from beginning to end. I mean, for me, you fell asleep, so I guess you weren't that enthralled.
I've just seen it so much. It's just one of those things.
But yeah, I mean, I was in from the beginning to end. The performances are great. That those two characters play off each other so well. I like how there is a MacGuffin, like the MacGuffin of the doll, but like it's almost so irrelevant to the actual like minute to minute of the movie. Like, yeah, the bad guys are trying to find the doll. That's why they're here. But the movie is so much more interested in this conflict between the characters and less interested in where's the doll. Like we find out where the doll is pretty quickly in the movie because it's stupid
Georgia.
That girl is so mean. She's mean to the blind. She throws all her shit everywhere just because Audrey was like frustrated with her for being a jerk. Children.
It's okay. Psh. She'll learn one day.
I mean, she's like probably like 60 now, so.
I mean, she probably learned.
Yeah,
I hope. Yeah.
I need to have you watch that Don't Breathe movie. It's kind of gross. Like it goes some weird places. It's definitely not this. It's definitely a modern telling of this, and
I hate that.
Only this time, the protagonists are the people breaking into the house, not the person defending.
I wonder who they would have if they ever remade this movie in present day.
I feel like they are.
They are? They're remaking it?
Maybe
who do we think should be it? Who's like a classy Audrey Hepburn? You know who I actually kind of equate Audrey Hepburn to that's present day is Angelina Jolie. I don't think that they're like as... I think Audrey Hepburn is more classically beautiful, but I think like her mission and like passion for humanity is very similar to Angelina Jolie. Anyways.
You know what?
Are they remaking it?
No, I think it's just a new run of the play. I think that's what I read.
Well, that would be fun. We should go to New York and see that when they redo it.
I don't know if it's playing on Broadway.
Oh, well, I would really like to see the play.
Yeah, I think it'd be fun.
Anyways.
I wonder how they do the darkness if they just cut the stage lights. Probably, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be cool. So that's Wait Until Dark. Thank you for making me watch that movie.
You're welcome. I'm so glad you liked it.
Yeah.
Every Halloween we'll rewatch it because that's my scary movie.
Okay, that's the one. That's the one you get.
Yep.
All right, it's time to move on to my movie.
Yes, your movie.
I picked the 2009 film Drag Me to Hell, which is written and directed by Sam Raimi, who also did the Evil Dead movies, and of course,
Spider-Man.
the greatest Spider-Man movie of all time, Spider-Man 2. Sorry, our dog is whining. So this movie is about a lone officer who evicts an old woman from her home, finds herself the recipient of a supernatural curse. Desperate, she turns to a seer to try to save her soul, while evil forces work to push her to a breaking point. So this movie... I love Sam Raimi. I love Sam Raimi doing Spider-Man. I love Sam Raimi doing horror comedy, which is just like cheesy, like culty, weird horror movies. Like the Evil Dead movies are fantastic. I enjoy them so much. And this is basically... You had already seen Evil Dead 2, so I couldn't show you that movie. And this is basically an Evil Dead spiritual sequel, kind of, because he wrote this movie way back in 1992 after finishing Army of Darkness, which is the third of the Evil Dead series.
Okay.
You've never seen that one.
I have not.
And then he just kind of got shelved for a while, and he didn't pick it back up until later. But this I mean, Raimi had been taking a break from culty kind of cheesy horror to do those big budget Spider-Man movies. And this, I think, for him was a return. Like, he had done Spider-Man 3 that came out in 2007, I think. He was frustrated with that process. The studio interfered and forced him to do things, and he got mad. So he turns around a couple years later and makes this weird, gross, disgusting horror comedy that is just everything that he started his career doing. And I love it. I love this cheesy little movie.
You know, when you said it was a horror comedy, I was expecting it to be funny.
I
didn't really think it was funny. I thought it was disgusting. I thought that a lot of the things were very gross. I wouldn't necessarily say it was super scary.
No, it's definitely not very scary.
But it was not funny to me.
I will say the one scene where she's sitting in the parking lot and she sees the old lady's car across the way, and the handkerchief flows over her and then like flows behind the car, and the camera turns to follow the handkerchief, and then like the woman's just sitting in the back of her car waiting. That creeped me out a little bit.
That is creepy.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it was also one of those where it wasn't like particularly heavy on the demon possession sort of thing. But it did teeter-totter that a little bit.
It was, but see, that's...
I still just didn't like it. It's just like that sort of thing just does not sit well with me. I'm not comfortable with it. I don't like it. And so...
See, I was thinking it would be okay because it's just silly, though. Like, there's a fucking goat puppet at one point. That's like they trap the demon in a goat, and the goat is like freaking out, and it's just absurd. Like, I don't think it's like when I say horror comedy, like it's not like ha funny. It's just like.
But that's what when I hear the word comedy, I think, okay, well, it's going to be like a horror movie, but it's going to be like I can't even think of those, the Scary Movie sort of thing, to where it's like, oh, it's like weird comedy like that, but it might actually have some sort of like horror thing with it. That's what I was envisioning. And so when I go into this and there's like absolutely nothing that's funny about it except for something that's kind of like, oh my gosh, that's so disgusting, but it's not really funny. It's just, ugh, that's really gross.
I guess it's just me and my demented mind, but the woman trying to bite her on her chin and her teeth have flown out of her mouth, so she's just gumming her with her teeth.
I mean, that's just gross.
It is gross, but it's hilarious.
It's not comedy.
I thought you had seen Evil Dead. I mean, this is the same kind of humor that were in the Evil Dead movies, where it's not like funny. It's just like silly to the point of absurdity.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd only seen Evil Dead twice. Two. I've only seen it once, though. I don't really remember it a whole lot.
You fell asleep, didn't you?
No, I didn't fall asleep.
I should have just made you watch Evil Dead too.
I did not fall asleep during it. But that was like that, I think also because it was an older movie, had that sort of like, sort of, thing to it. And so that was even more lighthearted to me and more of on the side of not comedy, but like horror spoofiness, I guess, is more of the way that I would describe it.
I get that. Well, I'm sorry. I thought you would not be as put off by it.
I mean, it's not that I was like so scared by it. That's not something. It was just like it was a movie that I didn't like the movie.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I went into it with the lens of this is going to be a horror and this is going to be a comedy. And so I'm wanting it to be funny, and then it wasn't funny. And I was like, why is this a horror comedy? I don't even think this is, I don't know what it was. If it was, I went into it with a different mindset, if I went into it and I just really didn't like it. But yeah, thank you for picking one. Sorry, I interrupted again.
No, go ahead.
Thank you for picking one that wasn't like extremely scary, because I know that we could get on that, like it has those scary elements and it's very suspenseful with it, and that's the whole like combination with it that I don't like.
Yeah.
But you only chose one half of that, and I was fine with the other half not being there. So thank you for doing that. But it's just, this one didn't. It's not one that I would say, hey, it's October, it's Scary Movie Month, let's watch this again.
I think this is important, though, because this is the kind of weird, zany shit that your husband, like, eats up. Like, this is a Fantastic Fest movie to me. Like, this is the exact type of movie that would play like crazy at that film festival, because it's weird as shit, it's gross. It
was gross.
It's like, I mean, like
that nosebleed scene.
Yeah.
That was sick.
It was amazing. I loved it so much.
I didn't laugh. No.
So Ellen Page was originally attached to play the lead in this movie, and she had to back out because of something else.
Do you know?
Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad she did, because Alison Lohman hasn't been in too much stuff. I think the only thing I remember her in for sure is a movie called Matchstick Men, and she was much smaller. You probably don't know that movie because it has Nick Cage in it.
Oh yeah, I don't like him.
But I think she's like perfect for this movie, and there's a lot going on kind of in the background of this movie with her character, because like there's a lot going on. Like she's a person that came from a rural area and is trying to make it like in the big city, and like she's being disrespected at every turn. Like at work, her boss treats her like shit because the other guy is better. Her boyfriend, played by Justin Long, thank God he's not in this movie very much.
You don't like Justin Long?
He's fine.
Interesting.
He can grate on me sometimes. I think he's just very one track. I think he plays the same character in every single one of his movies. Like her boyfriend's parents, they're well off, and she's like a total bitch to him. But there's a point in the movie near the very beginning where she's like listening to a dialect tape on her car ride into work, like on how to pronounce things, because she's very clearly like trying to get rid of her Southern accent. There's hints that she used to have an eating disorder when she was younger. Like I think it's one of the demons or something like says like, you used to be fat, didn't you, or something. And there's a lot going on with her as this like person that's like trying to change and trying to be better, and the world just kind of says, and like in her quest to get better, she makes a ethically bad decision, according to the movie, and is punished for it. She could help this person, and a lot of the movie is, I think, her refusing to admit that. Like she lies several times throughout the movie and says, "No, I didn't deny your loan. I didn't do that. It was my manager. He made me do it," which is the exact opposite of the she made the choice because she wanted to get ahead, and that is punished for it. And I don't know, like the movie, like I don't think it has like a conceit to it beyond that, because like it's not like she learns the error of her ways at the end but still gets punished for it. Like at the very end of the movie, she says, "I just have to tell you, I denied that person's loan. I could have done better, but I didn't do it," and still gets punished anyway.
Yeah, expertly predicted what happened.
Yeah, you did.
And then you confirmed before the movie.
I didn't say anything.
Again.
I didn't say anything.
You looked at me.
Well, here's what...
You looked at me and said, "Stop it. Stop predicting it."
You know what you're doing? You're blaming your manager for the problem that you created. If you say, she doesn't actually have the real button, and then look at me expectantly, it's not my fault if it's spoiled for you then. Just keep that to yourself and don't try to fish for the data from me, because that's what you're doing.
Okay.
Come on. That is what you're doing.
That's not what I'm doing.
Then why did you say it out loud and then look at me expectantly?
I didn't look at you expectantly.
You did.
I always look at you expectantly. I expect things from you all the time.
What do you expect from me?
Love.
I knew you were going to say that.
Unconditional.
No such thing.
There is such a thing.
Nope.
Yes, it is. You contractually obligated to it. You've signed away your unconditional love to me.
That's a condition.
Nope.
Under condition of contract.
Nope. You said, "I will love you unconditionally."
I don't think that was not in my vows.
Yes,
I don't think it was.
Yes, it was. I remember it. Yep.
Okay. So anything else you want to say about Drag Me to Hell? I don't know. Like,
no.
I'm sorry you didn't like it as much.
Well,
I hope it was tame enough for you.
Yes.
Because I'm worried about my movie that I picked next week for you.
Oh, are you?
It's very not tame, but it's also very good.
We'll watch it in the daytime. It'll be
okay.
fine.
Okay.
It'll be fine, yeah. We'll watch it in the daylight.
Okay. But that's Drag Me to Hell. If anyone out there has not seen this film yet, and you like the kind of cheesy, like campy horror films, and if you like Evil Dead, you'll like this movie. There's no way you won't. It's a lot of fun.
If you like Scott, you'll like this movie.
Yeah, exactly.
Well,
exactly.
I like Scott, but I don't. Maybe that logic doesn't
so you
work
don't
out.
Like me.
I love you. There's a difference.
You're breaking my heart.
Nope. Anyway, so what movie are you picking next week, Scott?
So next week, our theme is
still horror,
still scary movies.
Yeah.
I tried to think about maybe doing like a different like type of scary movie for each week.
Yeah.
But because I'm so limited in my selections, because you've like blackballed like 90% of the things that I would pick.
I've seen a couple of them.
Yeah. Either you've blackballed them or you've seen them. So my selection's rather limited.
Okay.
But so I can't do like themes. I can't do like a different type. So, but
Okay.
I picked for next week, I picked a movie called The Autopsy of Jane Doe.
Okay.
This is another movie I saw at Fantastic Fest, I think 2 years ago, and was one of my favorites of the festival. I have a poster of it sitting on my wall right now, signed by Emile Hirsch, who is in it.
Who you love because of Speed Racer.
Speed Racer.
Yes.
It is a movie about a father-son team that work at a mortuary, and that strange corpse comes in, and it's spooky. So that's my movie for next week.
Well, that's awesome.
I don't know. I think it's available somewhere. Let me look this up. Why don't
Do we have it?
We own it.
We do?
It's right here.
Oh, okay.
We own it, but I'm going to see if it's on Netflix for our listener friends.
That'd be really great if it was. That way they could watch it with us. But then evidently you told me, like people don't always watch it with us. So what's really the point of the movies we're going to do next week if they don't want to watch them with us?
Hey, babe.
What?
Are you going to be okay?
Yeah. Is it on Netflix?
It's not on Netflix.
Oh, it's a bummer.
Yeah.
So I guess you guys don't have to watch ahead of time. But the movie that I am choosing is available to rent on Amazon Prime. And it's an old movie. It's actually older than Wait Until Dark.
I don't know what this movie is. I'm as
He doesn't
excited
know
as
what
the
it
rest
is.
of you guys.
It's a 1956 movie. It is called The Bad Seed.
Okay.
Should I tell everyone what it's about first?
We'll talk about it next week, but let's just give like a
It's about
20-second summary.
It's about a little girl who's a serial killer. Dun, dun, dun.
Here's the thing about you and your horror movies. You don't fuck with demons. You don't fuck with ghosts. But you fucking love serial killers. You are obsessed with serial killers movie. Yeah, like
what other one am I?
Any serial killer thing you're fine with. Like, Elyse, you want to watch the Hannibal TV show? Yeah, that's fucking great. Let's do it. Which is
really kind of creepy because those are real things.
Yeah,
yeah.
That's why you're like a paradox, and I don't understand you.
I don't know.
But I am game. What was the name of the movie again?
The Bad Seed.
The Bad Seed. I think I've heard of this movie before.
It is. I'll have to tell you about something that we do as an inside joke with me and my sisters.
Oh my god, this is going to be another Rimmer Girl.
I just love my sisters so much. They're just so great.
And you're so excited about them. You're smacking the microphone.
Oh, they're so much fun.
Okay. So that's next week. We'll be watching The Autopsy of Jane Doe. It is available for rent on all streaming services, but not for free. Unless if you own Showtime, it is on Showtime.
Oh. We do.
And
but we also own the movie. So
and The Bad Seed available for rent on Amazon Prime. So if you want to watch along with us, and then maybe submit emails to us about
about what?
Like what you thought of the movies.
Oh, that'd be really cool.
What about scary movies? Do you guys like scary movies? Do you like October?
That's a yes or no question. You really need to ask something other than just a yes or no question.
Explain why you like scary movies and or October.
Rocktober?
No. If anything, it's like Spook-tober.
Can I tell you something really quick?
Sure.
Okay, so our Red Ribbon Week rally is something about
What's a Red Ribbon Week?
So, Red Ribbon Drug-Free Week. Evidently some cop was murdered in the narcotics unit and he spewed blood all over the place in his murder. And
what?
So that's why they do Red Ribbon Week.
That's horrifying.
Yeah, I know. That's why Red Ribbon Week happened.
What does it have to do with drugs? Just
because
he was in the narco unit?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, so we're trying to teach kids to be drug-free.
By reminding them of the blood that came spewing out of
Well, they don't know that that's really the reason that it became Red Ribbon Week. But anyways, so it's Red Ribbon Week and there's always a theme in this week or this year. It's something about through your journey through life, something be drug-free. And so we usually do dress-up days. And I suggested that this year we have a Journey Day where we dress up like the band Journey and we just play Journey songs all day. Everyone loved it in staff meeting. They're like, don't stop believing. But we don't think the kids will all know what it is because they're young.
But you're also like the cop, there's blood spewing, and you're saying Journey.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that online meme, or I think it's a Tumblr thing that's like, me in elementary school, I'll never do drugs. Me at age 20, I'll probably not do meth.
No.
I love it. I think that's it for us this week, Elyse.
Oh my gosh.
I think we're done, Zoe.
So fast.
We're back. We have no time off between now and the end of the year. We're just gonna.
We don't have any time off.
Not from this podcast.
Oh, okay.
We're gonna go strong through 2019. And
we're not gonna take a week off for Thanksgiving or Christmas.
No, we're doing a Thanksgiving episode. It will come out on Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
So when everyone's gathered around the table for Thanksgiving,
they'll be listening to us. Yes.
Oh my gosh, that'll be so much fun.
You know, it'd be weird if our parents do that.
Yeah, that'd be really weird.
Are we have Thanksgiving at your house?
No, it's yours. Yeah.
Anyway, it's only October. We shouldn't be talking about Thanksgiving yet. If you guys like this podcast and you want to see more of them, you can head on over to doofmedia.com where we have all of our different shows. Also, if you want to support us, you can head on over to patreon.com/doofmedia and donate $1 a month or whatever else you can afford. This helps us rent the movies we need to rent to see it. It helps us host the podcast and the website and do all the things we do. And
if we get to $700, then Elyse is going to live stream her playing a video game.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I don't know.
You said it now. It's in stone. I wasn't going to make you do that.
How many dollars away are we away from that?
Well, we were above 700 and then the new month switched over.
Well, I guess if people want to see me play a video game.
You got to go higher than that, babe. I would have gone
What do you want, $850? Well, there's the one thing that I said that we didn't say last week. And I was like, should we reveal it? And then you said, no, don't reveal it. We got to work it out and see if it'll happen.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, I don't know if you want me to say it on air because last time you told me not to say it on air, so I don't feel like I can say it on air because then if I do, then it'll be like, Elyse, I said no because we haven't worked out the logistics yet. Okay. So I'm not going to do it.
All right, guys.
But as soon as you press stop, then I'll remind you.
All right, guys. We'll see you next week.
Bye-bye.
What is the idea?
You can't, afterwards.
I can cut it out. We're not live.
Okay.